Welcome back to another episode of Have You Heard, brought to you by us at The Social Shepherd. Today, I am joined by
Charlene, Senior Account Manager.
Tom, Junior Paid Media Exec.
So nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Jack as well, one of the co-founders here at The Social Shepherd. And on today's episode, we've got some exciting updates for you, as well as some campaigns we've seen out there on social. And we wanted to give a few comments on that as well. So stay tuned for those. But first, we're going to go into the updates, as we always like to do. So this week, let's kick off, Tom. I know this is to do with your department. I won't grill you too hard on the questions, but Google abandons cookies removal plans. So it's been going back and forth now for quite some time. We've almost had it in the back of our minds within the paid team in terms of Google depreciating third-party cookies. But now they've halted those plans and are saying, hey, everyone, that's not going to happen. So I guess as marketers, we've really had to... It's been a bit of a U-turn in terms of what our future plans have been. Google said, we're proposing an updated approach that elevates users' choice. Instead of depreciating third-party cookies, we'd introduce a new experience in Chrome that lets people make an informed choice that applies across their web browsing, and they'd be able to adjust that choice at any time, which is interesting, I guess, giving the user that ability and flexibility of how they want to be, I guess, viewed online and their experience online. We're discussing a new path with regulators and we'll engage with the industry as we roll out. And that's another thing to think about as well. In different regions across the world, everyone has different law, like EU law is different to US law, and how they work with regulators to do that. It might be looking at different markets and how that changes. Tom, what were any thoughts on that from your side?
Yeah, I think Google like to say they're going to make a change and then do another U-turn, and the fact that they're not retiring the cookies now, it's like we've had to make a lot of sort of like thought processes in what we're going to do in the future about that, especially in paid, as cookies is a big part of our tracking and consent mode and stuff like that. But now, obviously, now they've gone back, it's actually not going to change much for marketers at all, and everything's going to be the same instead of data tracking. Yeah. So it's like, I saw a quote that was, "The boy who cried wolf." It's a bit like Google. They like to say a lot of stuff and changes or things they're going to do in the future, and then go back on it. Yeah. And then obviously your processes are being thought about, but then you go back on it anyway. Yeah. So just keep doing that, really.
Yeah, because I think like within the paid team and generally across digital as a whole, we've been telling clients like, focus on your first party data, like your emails, your CRM, everything that you can own. Because of this change of like, you really need to nail this part. And now, how does that affect us in terms of how we're communicating with brands and clients in terms of both first party and third party? It's going to take, again, more of a holistic view than what we've already been, I guess, nailing them for, is focus on your first party, because third party is slowly going away, but not anymore. So we will see what Google come up with next.
Another big U-turn from Google, as usual.
There will definitely be more to come from this. I don't think 100%. This is the end of the conversation.
I mean, they'll probably find another U-turn to do from that, and then that will probably be a smaller change that we have to do another change towards in the marketing world, but it won't be as big as they were making it out to be.
Yeah.
We just need to be reactive for whatever they throw at us.
That is basically all you can do,
100%. And then the second update is all about TikTok Shop. So obviously TikTok Shop's become pretty popular in the UK now, and massive. We've obviously talked about the other week how Made by Mitchell was the first UK brand to do 1 million in a day in 24 hours on TikTok Shop, which is insane. But the update with TikTok Shop is they're actually planning to launch that TikTok Shop in Spain and Ireland as early as October, and then the rest of Europe for 2025. So whilst it feels big here, they're still very much on that rollout plan longer term, and still haven't gone to all markets. So whilst we might see the rise of it for the brands that we work with in the UK, there's still many across the entire Europe and further afield that haven't had even the opportunity to do so. So I think that'd be great for Spain and Ireland, for those that are first to market there and can really, capture it in terms of Q4, and then the rest of Europe in 2025. But apparently they were forced to scale back the rollout in 2022 due to internal conflicts.
Yeah.
I don't know what those internal conflicts. There's always politics internally at these types of platforms that go on, but no additional information about what those conflicts are. And also late last year, TikTok published a report saying that there are over 15 million sellers on the platform already.
That's mad.
Which is
That's a lot.
insane. I guess from your guys' perspective, in terms of TikTok, what do we think their like general plans are? Do we, they've obviously taking over commerce and making that purchase journey easier. You've got the likes of like WeChat in China that's tried to be the everything app. Do we think maybe TikTok is trying to become that? It's like first gone entertainment, now it's going commerce.
Yeah.
It's obviously got messaging functionality, which we know is like massive on Instagram now and other channels. But do we see that happening? It's like they're focusing on commerce now, and then next they'll focus on a whole nother feature to sort of capture the market and spend more time on that app than others.
I don't think it would surprise me if they did. I think it makes sense for them to grow. And I think if there's opportunities there, then they're going to go after them.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why they're taking the step to go into Ireland and Spain. And I'm sure after that, they'll go for the rest of the EU. So yeah, it makes sense for the right step for them.
Yeah. I think when I think about it, you've always got to tie it back to ultimately revenue. What is going to drive these platforms more revenue? That is their, if you think about that's their sole goal is profit and revenue and growth, basically. And to do that, they need to, the main way they do that is through advertising. And to how do they deliver ads? The more people on the platform spending more time. So the ways that they can hold that user attention on these channels for longer and keep us doom scrolling and purchasing stuff and earning income that way, they will continue to do that because the more revenue they can make. That is ultimately a business's goal, I guess. In that sense.
You could always see it going this way when it just started out as literally just an entertainment platform, and then the TikTok shop came in, and obviously they're sort of like trying to create like a mini Amazon with their TikTok shop. Like everything's easy to see with the displays at the top, and from an ad perspective as well, like their ad formats are just, they're always looking to, quite slowly in my opinion, but they're always looking to do more and follow the meta and the Facebook and Instagram side of stuff. But like so recently they were like doing like a carousel ad, and everyone's still trying to work out whether we actually can use carousel ads for like the Spark ads and stuff like that. But yeah, they're just not going to stop, in my opinion, TikTok. Yeah. It's like another Facebook story. They're just going to come out of control someday and it's just going to be in the robot's hands. In AI's hands. And yeah, it's just, they're not going to stop because like you said, it's a revenue perspective. And wherever the money is, they're going to go
follow.
No matter what happens.
100%. And next one, another AI update, which is basically every week now, to be fair. So this one is also about Meta has released a new Imagine Yourself feature. A bit weird in our opinion.
Yeah, a bit unusual.
So it allows users to create an AI selfie that using prompts like imagine me on holiday, imagine me with a dog. Yeah, I know, I get that you're on Facebook and your friends followed, you see updates of what you're doing, but are they wanting to see you with a dog or on imagining you on a holiday? I think like Meta as a channel, I guess Instagram particularly as well, is like a aspirational thing. You don't want to, while some things may be fake in a way, you don't want to actually
know that
obviously it's fake, I guess.
Know that they're fake.
What do you guys think about this one? Can you see yourselves using it? Imagine yourself.
Not on my personal account.
No, I
can't imagine my mates and followers being that amused if I had a picture of me on a beach that was sort of cartoon vibes. Yeah. But maybe, I don't know, maybe for some clients that are more holiday related, you could have a bit of fun. I know I know certain clients like to do like fun Instagram stories where they'll just be like weirdest food combos or weirdest things like that. And obviously there's already AI out there that you can use for that, but you could always use that to sort of make a weird picture with like a holiday with a weird ham sandwich on the beach or something. You can go anywhere.
Hot dogs or something.
Hot dog with cheese or like something weird. I don't know. It's just, you can go anywhere with AI. You can actually do whatever you want. It's weird.
It feels like it's tying back to this whole like AI influencer thing in a way. It almost feels like using this, you could create your own AI generated influencer and create this whole like story weird. And narrative and life, fake life that they are on, or almost for yourself, it goes to almost like catfishing in a way, doesn't it? It's quite scary.
Yeah,
quite scary.
AI is scary. I think this would there's updates, like I say, every week is pretty constant. So yeah, there's nothing that we can do to stop it, but
especially Meta, I think they're really pushing it compared to anyone else. Typically those like weekly updates are coming from them. It feels like they must have a massive AI product development team internally that are pushing hard whatever they're doing there.
It feels like every platform is trying to have its own mini chat GPT within. They're trying to have their own way of doing that. So everyone's sort of going from the chat GPT to the individual platforms that they want to see. And they'll just go to that.
TikTok had one in terms of search as well. Like it would give you a text result as well as like the image result, the video result as well, taken from ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the main inspiration, isn't it, really? And they've done the image one as well, ChatGPT, where you can generate videos and images. And that's basically what all they're going off.
And then on to new ways to add offers to Meta ads. So I know you were excited about this one, Tom, as well. Being our person from paid in the room. So Meta has launched a new element to the ad setup process that detects existing offers based on the URL you enter for your campaign. How will this help you and the clients you work with, Tom?
I mean, it's kind of like site links on Google, where it's an easier sort of direct link to a certain promo or a percentage off or like a frequently asked question, because under the ads, and then obviously it makes the ad itself bigger. So that if you want to drive click-through rate or more clicks, then it's a good way of sort of filling up more of that page, especially on mobiles, where a customer will be scrolling and then they'll see it more prominently other than just like a little link. Or we got obviously the shop nows and the learn mores, but this would be now underneath that, I suppose. I'm not totally sure how it's going to look, but it'd definitely be a large ad in itself, and this is definitely like a route that we might be able to go to, well, definitely for sort of my clients, going down the road of A/B testing and seeing how that will actually alter performance and stuff. Instead of just doing a basic ad, doing that with the sort of site link vibe will definitely be like a good A/B test to see performance.
Because I think right now, I guess if you've got a client that runs regular offers, this can obviously help that process of like the ad build and setup. Rather than you having to change copy all the time,
not
you
quite
can have
manual.
that site link and offer.
Yeah, I mean, this Meta as well, they've obviously narrowed down the amount of characters that you can actually see in the copy recently. So being able to not have the sort of drop down and then see a link in the copy or a CTA in there, you can now have it in that link below, which is a lot easier for customers like me. I know myself, I'm guilty of just scrolling really quickly. I don't really stop for ads, even though that's my job. But if I saw something bigger or a clear link that was something that I actually was interested in, then I'd click on it. I wouldn't scroll past it necessarily if it's easier. I think most consumer journeys is if there's easy and there's an easy way of just getting straight to something they're interested in and not having to go through a sort of carousel or to find what they're looking for, then it's so much better for click-through rate and stuff.
It's like feeding them all the information ahead of that click. So when they do click, they've already half the decision's been made to purchase, and makes that like conversion rates increase. And I guess for us as well, if you have that offer there as a part of this, it means you've now got more space in the headline text, the description text as well, to actually convey like features, benefits of the product, rather than having, God, I've got to add this in the headline somewhere. Or now when you think about creative, you don't have to put something that says like 20% off in that creative. You've already got space. You can really focus on what the features, the benefits, the brand, the storytelling that we're trying to bring in with this creative, rather than slapping something that says 20% off just to grab attention. You've now got somewhere else that's doing that for you, which is really good in my opinion, because
it's definitely an interesting update.
Creatives with big offers off on them can be sometimes quite ugly, but perform well.
It'll be interesting to see kind of how creatives change and what people look to do. Obviously, we're always looking to mix things up and try new things. So it'd be interesting to see what impact that might have on the creatives.
And then the final update is saving music from shorts. So YouTube will now allows creators to save music from their shorts feed so they can reuse it later in different applications, whether that being YouTube Shorts, or they can then take that, across into other places. This is yet another push for platforms to expand music discovery and encourage users to create and share more clips. What are your thoughts on this, Shah, and how creators might use it, or like how we might use it as an agency?
I think it's a great update. I think shorts is obviously becoming a lot bigger thing. And I think that this update will allow people to have a bit more flexibility and will encourage them to use it a little bit more if they're not potentially. So I think, it's a fun one.
Definitely. Because like on TikTok, I guess at the moment, you've already got the ability to like see whether it's an original sound or find the source of that sound and who else has used them. And it's sort of
favorites.
Bringing that over to YouTube now, which is great because, I mean, we're definitely doing more things on shorts now. Obviously, TikTok is still sort of primary, but, how we can utilize both channels as short form pieces of content, I think is great. And definitely from a creator's perspective, there's, creators that are TikTok native, but are actually just now sharing stuff only on YouTube Shorts and encouraging people to start off on shorts, and then maybe they go into longer form pieces of content.
At the end of the day, shorts. There's always a new thing in the like social world, and shorts doing all this stuff is the new thing. 100%. And that's been really good for content creators. And the whole finding sounds is sometimes a bit harder on certain platforms. The whole copyright and the original sounds, and if there's an easier way of going through and just being like, I like that sound, or if you've already used a sound and then reusing it, then it's all in the same place. That'd be so much better. It's definitely a good change.
I almost feel like we could have our own Social Shepherd YouTube channel. That is logged in for the creative team, and they can use that as a means to like save, or like per brand, you might save then interesting music to that, and then you've got like a bank ready to go that actually is potentially applicable to that particular brand.
I know a lot of people use TikTok in itself just to find music and sounds. So if I feel like YouTube's going that way, all the platforms sort of like to do the same thing, follow each other.
They copy each other. They're like, I like that one, that's working for them, let's get our product team to sort that out.
Do exactly what they're doing.
So that's the updates, but we want to now move on to the coolest campaigns of the month. And we've got two of them, and then we've got one which is actually more of like a someone trying to sue another copycat on TikTok. So lots to talk about on that one. But the two campaigns that we want to talk about is, first of all, Monzo and Greggs. Some people might have seen this on their LinkedIn. I certainly have, or on other social channels as well. But I guess to give some background of this, it sort of originated from the Monzo money campaign, and going how Monzo is this sort of glorious experience when it comes, but whereas money can be this daunting thing. But they've got this, they've had this campaign run now for quite some time. But about this campaign, they collaborated, both Monzo and Greggs, off the back of this to create a pop-up ATM cash machine that dispensed sausage rolls in Newcastle. Like, I guess it's quite commonly known. Greggs definitely is very popular in Newcastle. I think there's more Greggs per sort of population there than anywhere else in the country and here in the UK. But this comes after Monzo realised that 80,000 Monzo customers claimed free Greggs sausage rolls since they launched Monzo Perks and Max. So they've taken that insight and data and then applying that to like an in real life activation. And now obviously upon that activation, like we know all these things end up on social and get even more reach than they would have done already. I guess, Shah, what's your thoughts on like when it comes to taking that insight, that data that we might have from the brands that we work with, or we can take it from other sources and combine that? What have you particularly liked maybe about this campaign?
I think this campaign's really, really fun. I think it's great that they've kind of tapped into that insight and used it to their benefit. I think Greggs are a bit of a marketing underdog, actually. They've been doing some great things over the last few years. So this is a particularly fun one. And I think an ATM that dispenses sausage rolls is a win. Like
I
it's
wonder
the
how
first of its.
they actually
There was
dispense
like
it. Is there someone like behind?
there was two ATM machines next to each other, and one was a money withdrawal and one was a sausage roll withdrawal.
Yeah, one was Monzo with
Yeah.
the sausage roll. So
Yeah.
it's going back to that
And the
Monzo
queue for the
money.
sausage roll
Yeah.
one was so much bigger than the other one. Like no one wants cash withdrawals, but everyone
Yeah.
wants a
Just
free
wants a sausage roll.
I think I definitely saw this on LinkedIn and
Yeah.
TikTok, I'm pretty sure as well.
Yeah.
So these things don't like, what we have to remember is like these things don't have to cost the world, these campaigns. You don't have to do anything like overly spectacular. It's being smart and clever, taking insight that's actually going to have impact in that real life setting. Don't have to do anything over the top, but really focus on that simplicity of the idea. And then you use channels like social to actually get the distribution and eyeballs from, obviously it'll get a talkability around Newcastle and people talk about it there. But further afield, it's blown up as well. So there's the real power in that.
I think sometimes a simpler campaign is the ones that would catch your eye. They're the ones that say a company's not trying very hard, but it works. That's the one where you're like, that was really good. Like when they're trying to do loads, and obviously it's not a massive worldwide, like when they're trying to just be too much. Sometimes like just chill out a little bit.
Definitely.
But this time it was just so simple that it worked really well.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, this is just one ATM. They don't have to, no one's even there to watch it. Like no one from Monzo, nothing. It's just one ATM, that's it.
Except maybe some poor
And then,
person.
It'd be interesting to see behind the scenes of how it's working.
This one bloke in the background.
Just waiting for the PIN numbers to come through. So that was the first one. And the second one is one of the brands that are just consistently smash it from an out-of-home perspective, Surreal. So Gymshark have done this campaign as of recently, both across all sort of channels, and it's been "We Do Gym" is basically the sort of tagline as a part of that. And Surreal sort of jumped on top of this and placed their out-of-home ad right next to Gymshark's ad saying "We Do Protein." We all know like Surreal are one of like in my opinion, one of the out-of-home sort of greats, I guess, in a way, because we were speaking about beforehand is they're not doing these campaigns all across the UK, similar to the Monzo thing. They've done it in one location, very smart, very simple. They capture that moment or capture that image, share it on social, and that's where they get the distribution. So because if they were doing out-of-home campaigns all across the UK, it's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
But actually, in that one spot, they might even only have it for a day or whatever the minimum term is. Create that on social, and then it blows up on organic, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of reach for free, basically. So again, another example of something very simple, very smart, very efficient in the use of money as well, and marketing spend. And I think that's something that I guess we can all take away with us, and everyone listening, is try and keep things simple where possible.
Yeah.
And have that real like clever moment. It doesn't have to come from, some amazingly creative, everything that, is powerful in this day and age is produced from a very simple idea and then distributed on social, in my opinion. Any thoughts on this one? I know it's very similar to the sort of Monzo Greg's, but...
Yeah, it's just keeping it simple, really. Like you just said, hit the nail on the head, but just sometimes you don't have to try really hard. You just need nice placement, even just like they've put it next to the Gymshark. That just is placement. They've not gone overly expensive, or I mean, it probably just set them back a bit, but like it's the whole simple marketing is actually, in my opinion, as a Gen Z, younger and all of that, I prefer just like a little campaign or something that's just eye-catching. You don't have to be a whole event. Yeah. But what they're doing there with just the simple...
You can appreciate that cleverness.
And the cleverness of just the quote is, really nice.
Yeah.
I think the brand alignment on this one makes sense, 100%. Like the two brands.
That's a really
whereas
good point.
the Monzo and Greg's one, actually, you wouldn't initially expect them to work. Obviously they do, and they found like through the insights why, there's an opportunity there. But yeah, the Gymshark and Surreal makes sense for those to partner with one another.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and it's all coming back from, I guess, like you said, Monzo Greg's unexpected, but there's still the reason of the insight that's come from it, where Surreal don't need that insight. They know a Gymshark user is similar to a Surreal user because it's high protein cereal. And then final point of today, which is a big one, a very interesting one. I know you guys had some thoughts before we jumped on here. The first content creator to sue a copycat on TikTok. So this comes from, basically what's happened is a lady called Sydney Nicole Gifford has claimed that another lady, Alicia, has copied her neutral, beige and cream aesthetics on the content. It's featured the same or substantially similar Amazon products, both promoted by Gifford and then Alyssa as well. This is according to Texas court records. So the goal is for her to protect her work and being infringed upon an imitator. I think where we were initially thinking is, I guess on social and a lot of brands, product in this whole world that we live in often comes from imitation. There's very rarely anything that's like, wow, that's the first to ever do it. Obviously there's that does happen, but everything's come from inspiration or imitation somewhere with their own twist. Maybe on this occasion, there wasn't much of a twist.
Yeah, not enough of one.
Imitation, but I know, Shah, you had a look at their Instagram, didn't you, to have a look deeper. What were your thoughts there?
I mean, they're very similar, definitely the colours and that kind of aesthetic simplicity. So they're similar from that perspective, but there were still differences. So I think it's difficult to say someone is completely imitating you, and it's probably a bit of a grey area, really. But
were there any other products that are they both promoting solely that product, or were there other things that they were also promoting? Or
I think they have a lot of crossover in the products that they're promoting, but amongst that there are a few differences. But I suppose if it's happening quite regularly that one person is promoting something and then a few weeks later the next person is, it's going to feel quite obvious to you. But I think it's a difficult one. Yeah,
this literally, looking at the dates, these two pieces of content that look extremely similar. One was on the 19th of October last year and one was on the 3rd of November. So it was a matter of like 2 weeks, pretty much. But I wonder if that's, you would be quite frustrated, to be fair, if you were that original creator. Definitely. And then you just know whatever you're doing 2 weeks later, that would like pick away at you a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can definitely understand the frustration. I guess it's one for us to track how that actually lands in the court of law.
Yeah, I think that's a direct comparison, isn't it? So it seems a lot more obvious than, I suppose, just looking at their social media pages. You know, it's pretty obvious that they've taken inspiration from it.
I wonder just if the threat of the legal action stops the other person from doing it, and that's the emotion of like the reason behind getting the solicitors involved. Is just to try and halt that other person from doing it, or it's genuinely like loss of business that this Sydney thinks that she might have had because the other creators. I don't know if you'll be able to prove that. That's the only case that I could think of. Like, how can you prove loss of business because she's been creating a very similar video to what I did a few weeks later? That will be the challenge, I think.
I think it's an interesting topic, though. I think that we'll probably see more stuff like this popping up because. Yeah, but it's deciding what is those factors that make them different or they're copying. Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I was a lawyer and knew the answer there. But, definitely one for us to keep a track of and how that progresses. Because like you said, this is not going to be the last. And this is not the first either. This is happening all day long out there. You see it on YouTube a lot as well. Like Mr. Beast creates an idea and then a Russian YouTuber or someone else in another country and language straight up just fully copies the idea, the title, the thumbnail, everything, but just
there's
it's just in a different language and a different creator behind it.
People
that happens already.
That's their job, and certain people are a bit cheeky, and it's finding that line between is that inspiration or have they just straight up copied them?
Yeah,
there's definitely a fine line there, and that's the thing with this topic. It's definitely a deeper conversation where you see what happens, because she might just be able to, at the end of the day, it result in it was just inspiration, because everyone has inspiration.
I
think the whole world of that social area is based off inspiration. Not many people, like you said, not many people will find a very original idea.
Wow. let's leave it there.
Let's leave it there.
But yeah, one for us to follow on and keep you guys updated out listening at home. But thank you very much, Shah and Tom, for joining me today. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you are, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, wherever you are, just follow us because we're putting these out every single week, all to do with social updates as well as campaigns that are catching our eye. So thank you very much and see you soon.